Today I will tell you the story behind the world-famous doctor named Ben Carson, and the name of the movie is Gifted Hands. This story of the worst student in the class becoming world-famous might just change your life. So without further ado, let's go to the main story of the movie. At the beginning of the movie we see little Ben. He sat in the classroom with all the students. Today their class test results are being given. The teacher tells everyone that Ben got 0, and Ben always got numbers like this. And because of getting low marks, everyone in the class started laughing at Ben. As Ben was the worst student in the class, and he was also a Negro, so everyone made fun of Ben even outside the class. One of Ben's classmates started making fun of him. Ben can no longer control his anger, so he punched that kid in the face. The next day, Ben's mother was called to school. The principal tells Ben's mother all the incidents in detail, and principal even shows her Ben's mark sheet. Seeing Ben's result condition, Ben's mother is very distressed. Because this mom works so hard to take care of her two sons' schooling, she wants her sons to be educated and established in life. When Ben was returning home with his mother, Ben told his mother, "Mom, I'm not very good at studies." But his mother refuses to accept it. She explains to Ben, she says, "I think you will do better in studies one day." That night, Ben goes to his mother with one of his homework. He says to his mother, "Mom, I can't read it well." Then Ben's mother realizes that her son actually has vision problems. The next day Ben's mother brings glasses for Ben. Since wearing glasses, Ben can see small letters in books very well, which he could not see well before. Since then, Ben has gone from being the worst student in the class to being the best student in the class. He no longer gets 0, now he gets very good marks. Next Sunday, Ben goes to the church with his family for worship. The father of the church shares the success story of a doctor's life with everyone. The story was very inspirational, that gives Ben a lot of motivation. Ben gets lost in the fantasy world as he listens to the story and he imagines himself as a doctor. Ben returned home and he tells his mother he wants to be a famous doctor when he grows up. Ben's mother is very happy to hear Ben's wish, but she is very worried about her two sons, because Ben and his elder brother watch TV all day. The next day Ben's mother visits a psychiatrist. Ben's mother had suffered from depression for a long time. She tells the doctor everything. He was married at a very young age. She was also divorced from whom he was married to, and the man was not good as a person. He has two sons, and there is no one in this world except his two sons. Ben's mother started crying and told the doctor, "I work in people's homes to educate my two children and I want them to study and be established in life." After listening to all the words of Ben's mother, doctor advised her to stay in the hospital for a few days. That night Ben's mother told her two sons that she had to leave the city for some urgent work, and this time another woman will take care of Ben and his older brother. Ben and his older brother take this matter very naturally. Next day when Ben's mother was admitted to the hospital, she was unpacking her things. There she finds a letter written by Ben, which Ben had left in his mother's bag. It was written there, "Dear Mom, I miss you already. I promise I will try to do better in school. I love you, Benny." Ben's nickname was Benny. Seeing Ben's written letter, Ben's mother's eyes were watering. But these tears were not of suffering. These tears were of relief. On the other hand, Ben has gradually become a good student in the class. The class teacher was giving their exam results today. Ben surprised everyone today. He got the highest number and everyone in his class was very surprised to hear this. Ben returned home very happy. He will give the news of his good result to his elder brother. But when Ben enters the house he is very surprised, because his mother has returned home. Ben's happiness became doubled. He informed his mother about his results. Ben's mother is very happy and tears came to her eyes with happiness. In the next scene, Ben's mother has taken a new job, and this man was a very rich. The man's residence was like a library, and his entire house was filled with thousands of books. That night, when Ben's mother came home from work she found her two sons watching TV. Seeing this Ben's mother became very angry and she scolded her sons a lot, and also punishes them. As punishment, Two brothers will henceforth visit the local library and read at least 2 books each week, and what they have read in that book they will write everything in a book. Then they can only watch TV once a week. Ben and his elder brother are not at all satisfied with this judgment of their mom, but they were not disobedient to their mom. From the next day, Ben and his brother also started going to the library. They start reading knowledgeable books, and gradually books reading becomes their hobby. Even in home they used to watch educational programs on TV. As a result, the general knowledge of these two brothers increased a lot. One day a teacher in Ben's class shows everyone a rock, and teacher asks everyone, "Can any of them tell the history of this stone?" All the students sit in silence. Only Ben raises his hand. Ben tells the whole history of the stone in the teacher's hand. Ben says so much about this stone that even his teacher doesn't know well. Ben's teacher praises him a lot at the end of the class. Ben used to make a lot of spelling mistakes in his writing from the beginning, but this year he came first in the spelling competition. Even at the end of the entire semester, Ben was selected as the best student of the school. Today Ben was being rewarded in front of everyone. Ben's mother was also present. She is very happy with her child's success. But this lady, Ben's class teacher, was not at all happy with Ben's success. She tells the students that Ben is the best student of the year despite being a Negro and being the son of a poor family, which should be one of you. No one understood what the teacher said, but Ben's mother did. Her eyes were brimming with tears. Today Ben has got such a good result, but he has come under the discrimination of skin color and rich and poor. After that, Ben's mother did not admit her son to that school. She enrolls Ben in another school. Only Negro children attend this school. Ben makes a new friend at this school. This friend of Ben's was cool type. He always wears expensive clothes and he was very stylish. Ben also slowly started following him, and he started asking his mother for new clothes. Ben's mother no longer has that ability, but she still buys Ben a new pant. But day by day Ben's demand was increasing, which was completely beyond his mother's ability. Ben starts misbehaving with his mother because of his attitude. Even one day he tries to beat his mother with a hammer for new clothes, and then his elder brother came and stopped him. Bad friends and company have ruined Ben a lot. One day at school Ben tries to hit his friend with a knife during a fight with his friend, but luckily, the knife hit his friend's belt. As a result, the boy survived. Ben was so scared, and he rushes back home. Ben goes into his room and hugs the Bible to his chest and vows that he will never quarrel with anyone again. Then many years passed. Ben was already good at studies, but he continued to study better than before. And as a result of his tireless work, he got admission in a very good college, that too in 100% scholarship. Ben will not need a single penny to study in this college. That was completely free. Ben also got a girlfriend after coming to this college, and the girl named was Candy. Ben tells his girlfriend that he doesn't like the way his teachers teach. He feels that teachers teach much less than required. His girlfriend Candy told him, "Then you spend less time in college and start studying at home." Ben does so. He started homeschooling from the next day. Ben's chemistry subject was not that good before, but now he likes this subject so much, and now chemistry becomes very easy for him once. He did very well in college, and he finished college as a college topper. Ben always wanted to be a neurosurgeon, so he applies to the best hospital in town. But the problem is, only 2 assistant doctors will be taken here, but there are thousands of applicants. On the other hand, Ben is so confident that he hasn't applied to any other hospital. Today was Ben's interview. In the interview board he is asked, "Why you want to become a neurosurgeon?" Then Ben replied very confidently, "Our whole body is controlled by a small brain. We do what the brain tells us to do, and I want to rule over this brain." Seeing Ben self-confident, he was taken to the hospital as an intern doctor. Ben was very happy about this matter, but the environment around him was not so easy. Because Ben was a Negro, and the rest of the hospital staffs were white people. Although Ben tries to get along with everyone, but everyone ignored him. One day a senior doctor took everyone on a visit to see a patient. The doctor was explaining to everyone about the patient's disease. But in that persuasion, Ben catches the doctor's mistake. The doctor then gets a bit angry, and he shifts Ben to another ward. Ben has a hard time with this. Even after returning home, he continued to think about this matter. Late that night, an emergency patient came to the hospital. The patient suffered severe head injuries, but that time there was no neurosurgeon in the hospital. The patient's condition was so bad, if the patient is not operated on right now, the patient will die. Ben was the only neurosurgeon there, but he is still not licensed to perform surgery. And that day, Ben took the greatest risk of his life. If the patient dies during the operation, then maybe Ben's doctor's life would have ended that day. Ben performs the operation and the operation is successful. The patient survived. The senior doctor of the hospital called Ben. Ben thinks he might be kicked out of this hospital because he did not have permission from anyone before the operation. But the opposite happens. The senior doctor admires Ben a lot, and at the same time Ben was promoted. Ben is no longer a junior doctor. He is now licensed to surgery. A few days later, a baby girl was brought to the emergency room. The girl fainted after a while. A few doctors examined the girl and everyone says one thing: the girl may have some brain problems by birth. But Ben is the only one who refuses to accept this argument. Ben returned home and did a lot of research on the girl's condition, and he finally thinks it is possible to cure the girl from this condition. He talks to the girl's parents. He tells them, "It is possible for your daughter to recover completely, but there are many risks here. If the operation is not successful, your daughter may never be able to speak, she may even be crippled for lifetime." But the baby girl's parents are willing to take all the risk. This operation was no ordinary operation. If Ben succeeds in this operation, he will become a famous doctor, and if he doesn't succeed, he will feel guilty for the rest of his life. He is very worried and very nervous. He continued to pray to God to help him. The next day the desired operation began at 6:15 a.m. The operation continued for hours, one surgery after another. And at one point the operation ends. The girl was taken to the general bed, but nothing was understood until the girl regained consciousness. In a moment the little girl regained consciousness and everything is completely normal. The baby girl is able to talk and even move. As this was no ordinary operation, so the reporters was waiting all over the hospital. Ben gave an interview in front of the media. Ben believes the success of this operation will save thousands of lives every year. Word of Ben's success spread throughout the country. Then we see Ben's girlfriend Candy is now his wife, and she is pregnant. Ben was very happy with his new baby, but one day Ben's wife Candy miscarried. Their child is spoiled. Along with Candy, Ben is also broken from the heart. He always sits next to his wife. Seeing Ben's condition, Candy tells him, "You should go back to the hospital, common people need you very much." Ben returns to the hospital, but he still could not forget the pain of losing a child. He is always upset. In the meantime, a letter comes to him. He has to go to Germany. A twin baby was born there whose heads are stuck together. But Ben didn't know if he should go to Germany at this moment in his state of mind. But still Ben started researching about the twins, but he could not reach any conclusion. Ben thought a lot, but he could not find any solution. One day Ben was playing pool and in the middle of the game he suddenly thinks that he has found the solution to how to separate the heads of the two children. Preparations for the surgery began. Ben forms a large team of several doctors. In that team also included a heart doctor. It was decided that the two children would undergo heart surgery first, so that there is not much bleeding during the operation. Even the various machines required for this operation are brought in pairs, so that nothing gets shorted during emergency. After all the preparations, finally the world-famous surgery started. After several doctors operated for 22 hours at a stretch, and finally the body of two children were separated. The day September 5, 1987 is still written in the history of medical science. Ben Carson, a great doctor, made the first such operation successful in the history of the world. Ben stood in front of the parents of the twin children and tells them, "Yours children are well, They both are completely out of danger. The children's parents hugged Ben happily, and the whole world's reporters were waiting outside that hospital. Ben had been a great doctor in his country until now, but today, as a result of this operation, he became a great doctor all over the world. And this was the true story of the life of Ben Carson, a great doctor in the world. Ben was not a good student as a child, but he became a good student by his own efforts. Once he went down a bad track with dishonest friends, but time brought him back to the good track again. So let me say one thing: today the child who is not able to be first in the class, or who is getting very bad results, you should not neglect him by saying disappointing words. Encourage them, care them properly. Who knows, this child with poor results may one day make history, like Ben Carson. So how did you feel about today's story? Please let me know by commenting. And my favorite thing is to read your comments. Thank you very much for taking your valuable time to watch the video. Goodbye as of today. Thank you so much.